Okay, here I am back again. I did not end up getting any videos while I was gone, so I apologize for that, but I was just busy making things and kind of healing. So what I'm doing today is I went ahead and I made up some of my looms for tablet weaving or card weaving. And so this video is kind of to explain for those who purchase it how to put it together, because it's going to come in two pieces instead of one, only because the size of the box would make it be around $60 in shipping. So that is ridiculous, and since I'm covering shipping, I didn't think anybody wanted that to be passed on. So when you get the two pieces, this is the front of the tablet loom, and this is the back. And so you see all the holes here for the threads. That's going to aim towards the back. So there's already holes pre-drilled, so that's going to go up, and I will just do a quick, I've already got screws in it. It's already, the loom will be pre-drilled, so all you're going to have to do, and hopefully, because I'm not doing this at an angle that I usually do it, hopefully this will work out. So you just pull it snug and get one most of the way in there, and the other, just so it doesn't twist around, and get those back ones. Well, no, I'll do that after. The two side ones, hopefully, like I said, this is not the position I'm usually in. There. And I've made holes that kind of countersink, so your screws will go below the wood, the surface of the wood. So maybe these weren't lined up quite well with the hole, so we're going to try that again. Okay. That one. That one. And the back. Is it showing up? Yeah, okay. And then you'll get the back ones in. And of course you'll put glue down, I forgot to say that. You'll put glue all around wherever this wood is going to sit. And then there you have it. So I am going to go get my loom that I've been using for months now, and then show you how to thread it and how to use this particular loom. So I'll be right back. Okay, here I am with my loom. I already have, obviously, a band in the process. Let's see if I should zoom in. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. That should help, maybe. Okay. So, let me turn it this way, I think, because what I'm going to go ahead and do is show you, if you were doing a card first, obviously mine's all threaded up right now, but I'm going to go ahead and loosen these so I can take off that top bar. I should probably go ahead and throw in, that's what I wanted, throw in this just so my cards don't get completely messed up. And obviously I just have my homemade cards since I'm going to be loosening this whole thing. So I would go ahead, take this top bar off. This has got, the looms that I am selling have this sort of, it's not sandpapery tread stair, no slip stuff. It's plastic, so it's not going to harm your threads, I don't think. It's been working really well for me. So I would have, let's say I've got these are cotton threads, and I would have those laid out over the bar, and go ahead and thread them up however your pattern calls for. My that's not the position I'm usually in when I'm doing this. It's usually directly in front of me when I do it, so bear with me. I'm going to get all those through to the back. And then I'll tie those into a knot. Let that hang there. And this bar would be off, the bottom bar. I'm not going to worry about my project right now. I will just lay that over there. So how I do it, I have washers on mine, but you aren't going to get washers because I did it when I only had wing nuts, not these, and these act as washers. So I screw that one on just a tiny bit so I can lift that up. And where's my dowel? I have a dowel, so I will slip that knot under there, and I will take my dowel and slip it in between the threads so it stops it from coming through. And then, as per what you're supposed to do, I separate all those threads with my fingers so they don't get completely twisted up, and pull my fingers all the way through so they're all even. And then I take my ends. If they're uneven, I tend to cut them. Where am I? There I am. If they're uneven, because I just like the evenness of them. But I'm just going to line them up like that. And I have found these holes work perfectly fine for the thick cotton. So I will pull that through, all the way through one of the holes. And then I will go ahead and chain loop. Oh, I forgot a step. This is, you'll see in the instructions, I have these weights that I made, and they work out really well. And I just made them out of polymer clay. And I am going to include one along with the loom in case you wanted to copy it and make some yourself. So slip that through one end and the other. And then I pull that so that the threads are kind of even, and then I usually leave it, I kind of stagger it, but usually about an inch or so below this. And I made this wider just because somebody might want to drill more holes. This will accommodate 40 cards, and maybe somebody does more, and I don't know how it would work with the staggering. I will try that out one day, but in case somebody wanted to try on their own, that's kind of why mine has an extended lip, I guess you would say. So I'm going to go ahead and chain this up. And then I would go on to the next card. And this, I like that I built like kind of a box, because when you have long threads, they can just sit in there and then they stay out of the way. And then this box comes in handy for, get my shuttle out of there. I messed that up, didn't I? God, I'm having one of those days. We've all been there. Okay, there we go. Then that can hold my weights and extra cards, and everything is just portable. So I really like that. So I can just pick this whole thing up and carry it around. So at that point, after I've done threaded all those up, I would leave this dowel in until I've done that far enough that I need to advance it, just because that will keep the threads from going up. This one doesn't need, I found, this rubber at all, because once you start weaving it, it's thick enough that it will be just fine. And when I start the weaving, hoping all this makes sense, I would do it that way until I've done 2 or 3 advances, so that I can take it all off and then go ahead and feed it this way. So you will see that when I get to that point. But then once all of those are in and you tighten this up, then you just go ahead and tighten all your threads down from this angle, and these weights help to have something to grab onto. So then once those are all tightened up, you'll put this on. So I will show you that, because I'm going to go ahead and take this out that I already did, and then show you with my weaving how the whole process works when you're doing the weaving. So I will set that aside in here. Alright, so I already kind of messed this up, so I'm going to pull it down to about there where I could start the card weaving again and get my knobs on there. And this is showing up, right? Yes, okay. So, and I tend to go back and forth tightening so that it's kind of an even tension on the wood. So now I am at this point, and I'm trying to see what's showing to you. Yeah. Hopefully, let me scoot up and see if you can get further. No. Okay, close up maybe. Let's see. Okay, so I'm over here with all my weights. And so now I'm just going to make sure all my cards are in the right, or together kind of. And I find at the very beginning I have to kind of pull each bundle of 4 strings individually to work out any loose spots. But then from there on, just grabbing several bundles of 4 at a time seems to work. And so pull those tight and pop this on. Again, this had washers, and that was when I was using wing nuts, so it needed washers. But now that I have these knobs, I don't need the washers because they act as washers. So get that tightened down, and then I'll show you one of the things I've really found that I like, and it was one of the reasons why I designed this, was because of the buildup of twist. And maybe I had some twist and I didn't realize it. Okay, so I'm going to show you that. Let's see. Trying to find, okay, where I can show you. It's frustrating. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to be over here. So, okay, this part, I'm going to take this off again because there is a bit of a twist up there. This design tends to have the outsides twist up, and I don't like turning the cards around because it always ends up with that little dent in the weave. Okay, so when I get to, and that I kind of is overlapped. So I'll take, usually if it's a lot of twist, I will take my finger up that 4, and I can feel below how it's twisted, and I can kind of untwist it. And when there's a bunch that are only slightly twisted, I can take my finger up through the whole thing. See, those two are a little bit quite twisted. So I just run my finger down. And it has worked out really good for me because I've done a few patterns that were super twisted. And I've been really happy with how this just makes it simpler. And because it's small, you can just swing it around and use it on a table, on the couch. I sit in the bed. So get those evened out again since I kind of messed up the whole tension when I took it all apart to show you things. Okay, where are my knobs? So get that back in there. And a thought that I had, I haven't tried it yet, but if you didn't want to make polymer weights, you could probably use like a big nut that goes on a bolt and maybe thread the fiber through there. Okay, so take this out. I'm going to make sure, actually I don't even know where my pattern is. Make sure all my cards are in the right place. Where is my pattern? Okay, well, maybe I won't show you that. So, obviously, you're moving your cards. I'm going to zoom out so you can see the whole. Okay, pull that back in. So, obviously, you would be turning your cards back and forth and going back in, you know, obviously, weaving back and forth. And when you get to a point that you can't anymore, what I do is I loosen these. I don't take them off because they don't need to be off. Just enough you kind of hear the wood kind of give way. So, quick note, also sometimes I find when it gets too tight, but there isn't a lot of buildup yet, if I just loosen these a little bit and tighten them, that loosens all the threads enough that I can keep going for a few more rows. So, alright, so I'd have that. I turn it around and I take these completely off when I advance it. Take off these back pieces. And I do it from this way because I found it helps me keep it even. So I will come down here and I will grab the work that I've already done here and I will pull on it. Let's see, get it where you can see it. God, I'm really messing up with this video, aren't I? Just trying to show you. Okay, so we've got that down there. So when I pull this, I can make sure that it's centered down my line and not off to one side or the other. So I'll pull that back up again and show you again. And then I will just pull that until it's like, oh, I'd say about 1.5 inches, 2 inches from there. Then I tighten that. And then again, I would tighten this. And while I'm holding it, throw the bar on. While I'm holding it tight. And after I've run my finger through and done all the untwisting, I hope this is making sense. I just wanted to get you guys a video and hopefully it makes sense. So, and then it would be back to my weaving. So I am very happy with it. I like the angle that I get because it's a good one to see. It's not flat down. I like all the space. It's really worked for me. So that is an explanation of the loom that I am selling right now. And I am selling them at $75, which includes free shipping. And that's because this was kind of my my experiment with making several at a time, and my tools were kind of acting up, so I've got to do some repairs on that. So there's things I wasn't super happy with, but nothing affects like a gap. You know, there's going to be gaps. Nothing I make is going to be perfect anyways, but it will work just as well as this one, and this one's not perfect either. But yeah, I figured for an introductory price, and you will find things like this little notch of wood or knots, and I leave those in there because there's, you know, something to be said for the nature of wood. So, and it's unfinished and it's lightly sanded. You could sand it more, you could paint it, you could stain it, you could wood burn it, you could do whatever you wanted. So, there you go. And I put the link up at the beginning of the video, and I'll put the link up here too if you want to come by. When I do the next set of looms, hopefully I don't have a problem with my saw and the angle it was cutting, and they will be $99 after that, and shipping is included in the United States. So thanks for coming by, and I will make sure to have something out next week with some fiber art I am working on. So thanks again. Happy Easter if you celebrate.